I think we are live, and it's 10 to 8 on Wednesday, the 24th of May. Let me just get my chat up. I haven't got my notification on LinkedIn yet. Is it live? I think everything's good to go. Yeah, all right, we're good. We are good. Right, so hello everyone. Happy Wednesday, happy middle of the week. And today I've got a special treat for you. I'm going to spend the next hour and a half trying to do something which is quite tough, and that's find family offices or family holdings in Saudi Arabia. I think Saudi Arabia is something on everybody's mind. They've heard lots about this fascinating country. And today I'm going to walk you through. You're going to come with me really much on a journey, and I'm going to try and find some of these family offices. And all this information is free for you guys to use as you please. How this stream is going to work is I am going to search through my LinkedIn. I'm going to find families that I may or may not have heard of. I'm going to show you that information. I'm going to analyze that information, and you're all going to have the best Wednesday evening, afternoon, or morning. Hello, everybody coming in. Guys, the normal rules of my streams is promote yourself, tell everybody about what you do, tell us where you're from, what you're doing. I think use this chance. I think the good thing about LinkedIn Live is it does allow you to speak to people in real time. Sometimes it's quite frustrating getting hold of people. I know that. A lot of you may have contacted me, and it can sometimes take me days to find your message. But anyway, we're going to jump straight into why we're doing this stream today, which is family office hunting in Saudi Arabia. So let's get the page up. Right, so jumping across, let's start. So let's start by going holding. And once the search bar starts, we will do, right, let's start with companies. So if you've got a computer at home and you have time this evening, guys, feel free to kind of follow my lead here. So let's go Saudi Arabia and let's type in holding. So let's see what we've got here. Business consulting, oil and gas. Right, so if we look at Abu Nayan holding, oil and gas, we all know oil and gas is profitable. Wow, I've got 6 connections here. So let's look through. We've got executive director and business development. So if we look at JP, we've got investment manager, chief investment officer. I wonder what their mandate is. Let's go back. So if we look at headquartered in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, oh wow, they've got 14 strategic business. So remember what I say every week, guys. So for all of you who've never been to Saudi Arabia, or you're in the UAE, you're in other parts of the Middle East, and you want to do business with some of these family conglomerates, and at the end of the day, you want money off them, right? These guys have 4,500 employees. No, serious, stop messaging me at this time. I'm streaming. So if we look at these groups, 1 to 14, United Food, actually, I want to talk to them, United Food Company. So Google some of these groups, see what they are, and then try and find a business connection, right? So once you find a business connection, we're going to come back to our lovely investment manager, which was Amar. So for all of you, please don't spam Amar. We're just going to do some stalking on his page now. So Amar, let's have a look. Amar's been at a few holding companies. So remember what I tell you every week, guys, is normally when somebody is a current investment manager in Saudi Arabia or the UAE, so let's focus on Saudi Arabia today, 9 times out of 10, they're going to work at a bunch of different investment firms before that. No offense to anybody in Saudi Arabia, but normally when they work in Saudi Arabia, they stay there. Life's good. Salaries are good. There's lots of development. It's an emerging market. Why would you want to move? Now, look at the amount of holding companies he's worked at. Anayan, Saudi Venture Capital Company. Guys, get your pens and paper out. But I really want to speak to these guys because they had a food company. So we're looking at Amar, right? We're trying to find connections. He went to Loughborough in the UK, Middlesex University, CFA Institute. So try and find some commonalities for all of you in the UK. If you ever went to some of those universities, maybe you can reach out to him and say you went to the same school. Now, if we go back to Abu Nayan, we're looking at headquarters in Riyadh. So for all of you who want to go to Riyadh, definitely reach out to them. But try and find a connection with these groups. And I say this every week. Family holding companies. So let's put me on the big screen. So family holding companies, it's hard for them to get liquidity. So that company right there is a perfect example of what the Middle East call themselves family offices. Now, family offices in the Middle East are different to family offices in Europe. I said this 2 weeks ago on one of my other streams. Now, that company right there will generate cash from those 14 companies. That will then go up to the holding company. Now, if you're a fancy venture capital opportunity and you need cash in the next 2 months, it's going to be quite hard to find that cash. And at the same time, if I'm working as an investment manager at that holding company, getting money from my real estate division is going to be hard. Why? Because the CEO is probably not going to want to give me that money from that division because he wants to look good to the chairman. So think of these family structures as, there's people who have jobs and responsibilities. It's sometimes not easy to just get cash because these guys are rich. So you've got to work with them. So those 14 companies we've just gone through, find a business connection, business development managers, do a proof of concept, get them to sign some piece of paper. I don't care what it is at this point. Find a connection. Then what we do with that is we go to the investment team and then we have a great business case to talk about an investment. And then we're making his job easier. So we're going back to, I've forgotten his name. What was his name? Tom Mitchell. No. Tom, now's not the time. DocSend. So we're going back to our investment manager, which was Amar. And we're going to Amar is I've found connection with one of these 14 companies. We've established a business relationship and now we're looking to raise investment from the holding company. Now I'm making him look great to his chairman. I'm making him look like a genius because he's found a technology that's already partnered with one of my companies, portfolio companies. And I'm saying to the chairman now, you need to take this company seriously and we need to deploy money into this business. So you see how this is all working. Am I making myself clear? So the first Saudi holding company we've looked at, I'm just trying to show you how to digest it. So now we go on to the other holding companies, and let's see if we can kind of go on the same themes. So all of you coming in, we've got Imran Khan. How's it going? We've got Merba. We've got Abraham. Anyone interested to invest in reputable fintech focused VC? Guys, do what Abraham's doing. Promote yourself. Tell everybody what you're about. Hello, Nelson from Portugal. We've got, hi, I'm a lawyer from Sri Lanka, from Janaki. We've got Brendan Dukes. Hello from Blue Fuels Horizon. Guys, tell us what you want. Tell us what you're doing. Say hello to everybody in there. Connect with one another. Most of my network are fairly senior. So most people commenting on here are either founders of businesses, executives. So definitely connect and tell everybody how amazing you are. Right, let's go back to family office hunting in Saudi Arabia. Who's pitching? Right, moving on. So let's go back to our gentleman, which was Amar. Now, he worked at a few other holding companies. I don't know if you noticed. Anan Holding? How do you say it? Oh, wow. Venture capital and private equity principles in Jeddah. So Anan Holding Company, I've never seen these guys, founded on the promise of the diverse Saudi economy, is a leading investment company. Okay. So they do innovative ventures in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So they're quite localized. So their venture capital arm may be quite localized. So it's up to you guys now from around the world to localize yourself to make it attractive to these groups. Now, it doesn't really tell us much information here. So let's have a look at the employees. Blimey, UK, Romania. Wow. Let's look at this gentleman. Anybody speak Arabic? HR and government. Right. Now, this one is going to be a tough one. It looks like it is all over the place. And you're going to see this a lot on LinkedIn. You have these holding companies that you can't read them from the outside. So anybody, guys, Google them, see what you can do from getting this. But from this point, I'm giving up at this group. Let's go on to the next one. So we're using our friend Amar, which I'm sure a lot of you are going to add and spam him. Saudi Venture Capital Company, right? I'm not going to go too much into this, but very successful. Obviously, a very large group. A lot of people are exposed to this group, board members. I'm connected with the CEO. I actually know these are the new guys, Saudi Venture Capital Investment Company. They haven't been around that long. They're still building the team. Let's have a look at this gentleman here. Who? Member of the board of directors, Gulf One Investment Bank, Saudi Venture Capital Company, Bahrain Islamic Bank. Wow. He used to work for DIFC as well. So very international guy. Only 100 connections, which means, guys, he probably doesn't use LinkedIn very often. But this gentleman here seems like he's the new face of Saudi Venture Capital Investment Company. Okay, so he used to work for Luta. So Luta, for all of you that don't know, Luta is a family office based in Dubai. They're big in the gas industry. But let's go back to, what do they do? So we're a joint stock company, blah, 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 blah. Nothing. Okay, visit the website, guys. I'll leave it up to you. Now, if we look over here on the right, for all of you in the venture capital industry, STV, reach out to them. They like to invest, I think it's 50% or 50% of them. Let's go back. 50% of the money they give you, I think they want you to invest it back into Saudi Arabia. I don't know. I might be wrong. We've got Ray Ventures, Halal Ventures. Let's look at some more similar pages. Come on, these are freebies. Get your pen and paper out. Saudi Angel Investors, Sadu Capital, Kotu Ventures, Faith Capital. Now, Faith Capital are a little bit more in Kuwait. Venture Suk, they have an arm in ADGM. Aramco Ventures, obviously Saudi Aramco. Aramco Ventures is split up between Waed, so WAED, and then they have Prosperity 7, and then they have Aramco Ventures. So think of Saudi Aramco as Waed, so WA dash, how do you call it? I don't know what you call it. WAED. That's kind of the early stage. Then you have Aramco Ventures, and then you have Prosperity 7. Outlier Venture Capital, Oryx Fund, very early stage Oryx, is actually run by a British group called Hambro Perks. I believe they're British. God, look at this list. Look at this list. You got everything here. This is what I love about LinkedIn. It's such a good tool. Now, Jimco, Jameel Investment Management Company, they have an office in London. Now, this is the family office of Abdulatif Jameel. So if you type in Abdulatif Jameel, Jimco is their family office. Now, it doesn't invest much related to the family holding company. I think they have a biotech fund. And they like fintech. I could be wrong, but they do list it on their website. Sharuk Partners, very prominent VC fund across the MENA region in Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia, SVC, and Neom. So, guys, look, we've got a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, about 16 VC funds. All of them, I guarantee, have money, right? And we got this literally thanks to LinkedIn. It popped up on the side. Now, let's talk about the difference between. So I'm going to jump back onto family offices because that's what I'm focusing on today. I've given you some freebies around venture capital funds. Now, a lot of the Saudi VCs, they are going to be driven to invest in the local economy. So as I said, it's this thing I wrote about last week on LinkedIn is localization. How do you localize your investment? If I am a company that is in America and I'm all about America, all my consumers, American businesses, all my legal entities are there, but now liquidity is scarce in America. I don't see a good future for the next 2 or 3 years there. I want to look at Saudi Arabia. How do I localize my investment? Now there's two things. Operations. It means you've got to spend some cash, guys. Now this is one option. The first option is you've got to spend some cash. Operations. Get yourself operated there. Do all the right things. Legal entity. Chuck a few guys, employees, boys or girls over there. Get some things moving. Show that you've got boots on the ground. But that costs money. The cheaper way of doing it is try and find customers, proof of concept clients, work with a university, become a consultant. They're offering loads of consultancy jobs for all of you specialists, consultants, people in the agricultural industry. Find a connection with either yourself or your business with Saudi Arabia, and that helps you to localize your business. So when you're going into these investment conversations, you have this local attachment which you can grow on. Right? If you're lucky enough to have the money, you can spend money. If you don't, then you have to find another way. All right? Let's look at few questions. Right. So can you talk about, I've just realized I haven't even got my, that says family office hunting with the UAE flag. Okay. Fair enough. Let's leave it with the UAE flag. Even though I'm talking about Saudi Arabia, we'll leave that up for a bit. Right, let's go back to the question. So we had a great question come in from Kartik. Kartik, can you talk about family offices versus VC for seed stage? Now, yes, family offices in other countries may be very sophisticated. They may have guys who've worked at other VC funds, they've worked at banks, they know how to value technology. Now, the problem you have in Saudi Arabia is not everyone's going to be that sophisticated. So, yes, this gentleman here, Yasir, come to Abu Dhabi. Come to Abu Dhabi, by the way. I'm all about Abu Dhabi. I'm giving my stream up to Saudi Arabia today because so many people are interested in Saudi Arabia. But come to Abu Dhabi. Go on, Yasir. I'm with you. Come to Abu Dhabi. But no, we're talking about Saudi Arabia today. Okay. But I'm all about the UAE. Don't forget that. I'm not moving. Don't panic. Now, back to the question that was asked, right? This question is a very good one. Can we talk about family offices, VC for seed stages? Now, this is quite important. What I was talking about is valuing. Saudi Arabia does not have enough years of investing in early stage technologies. It doesn't have enough data. It doesn't have enough track record. It doesn't have enough companies that reached a certain size. It doesn't have enough VCs that can join a certain cap table to get a company to a big size. It's getting there, but it's not there yet, right? But VCs have been employing certain people from around the world to help them on diligence, to help incubate, add value to these companies. So VCs can value your technology better. Why? Because it's their full-time job to do so. Family offices, now again, it's hard to use the word family offices. Family groups in Saudi Arabia find it very hard to value a virtual reality deal from America or Europe. Why? Because there's not a lot of virtual reality companies to do my own due diligence or research on here. I'm going off your word saying, look at us, we're fairly valued in the US market, and. Here's all the data. But as a family office, I don't have enough track record. My kids told me a lot about this. I'm seeing all the data you're showing me. I want to get involved. So from a family office perspective, it's very hard to value you. Now, for me, if I'm working on one of these family offices in Saudi Arabia and I'm new I've only been there a year and a half. I'm definitely not going to be the first person to try and value you. So this is what I'm on about is how do you, if you want to approach a family office outside of a VC, value your business? It's tough. So it's finding that connection with the business. It's tough to make sense. I mean, I think it's kind of like a family office in Saudi Arabia or a family group would rather give you operational expenditure than actually invest in your cap table, because that's like more familiar to them. A lot of the Saudi Arabian families have bought businesses. They're not really good at cap table investing, sitting on a cap table because a bunch of other good names are there. So it's culturally different. It's emerging market. So I'm trying to answer your question as best way. It's tough. They're so different. VCs get paid to spend money. Family offices do not get paid to spend money. They're not in a rush to spend money. They invest in things that they're emotional about. The Middle East, don't know. But hopefully I answered enough of your question. Let's get rid of that. Jim, good to hear from you. Right, let's go back to family office hunting. For all of you joining in now, guys, I am going across LinkedIn and I'm trying to find some of these discrete family offices in Saudi Arabia. Right, we've just come across Saudi Venture Capital. It's not a family office, so let's get off that. I've gone off topic a bit. Let's go backwards because we had a good list of things. Right, let's go back to the search bar. Let's start again. So holding. So remember, family offices can be called many different things, not a family office. Holding, capital, group, enterprise. So let's go back to holding. Let's type in people. So for all of you in front of your computers, try and follow me. If not, just take notes. So let's go Saudi Arabia. Show results. Oh, so I've clicked on people. Okay, let's do people rather than groups. So we've got some interesting people, right? So we've got Fahad. So who's Fahad? Masada Holdings. We've been there 11 years. Wow. Saudi-born national. Okay, 2 employees. Right. Interesting. So this is a family business. So it's him and his father. This could be... Okay, so it's their own money. So if you want to reach out to them, it seems like they work in engineering, trading, marketing, distribution. So these types of offices, guys, are not family offices. They're a family holding company. They've probably got loads of cash and they need good people around the world to help them build their family enterprise. May it be a job. You might be an investment manager or a portfolio manager, a BD guy, or you may have a technology that these guys want to work with. But these types of groups have no idea how to lead rounds, how to price companies. If you told them that your software is worth 40 million, I guarantee they're going to disagree with you. So these types of groups, you're going to have to go and talk in business first. Otherwise, so the ones, the family groups and the holdings with smaller employees, it's going to be very hard for you to convince them to invest in your international company just purely cash. It's going to have to start the conversations just on business. Otherwise, you're going to waste your time. So that's another one. Oh, interesting. Went to Suffolk University. So most of the Saudi-born nationals all went to university in England, Europe, America. Okay, Sumu Holdings. Blimey, never heard of this. Wonder what this is. Oh, no information. Okay. It takes time. Get yourself, when you've got a few hours in the evening, This is the thing, guys. Growing and actually finding somebody who's not a venture capital fund is hard. So not easy. So we've got Al Sahara Holding Co. Okay, these could be quite... Okay, 18 employees. Investment manager. Never heard of them. Enterprise conglomerate. Medical. Electronics. Security. Healthcare. And technology business sectors. So guys, have a look at their website. The reason why I don't go on their websites is because it just takes too long. And I have to change page and my streaming will go nuts. But let's have a look at their 18 employees. Okay, so this is obviously the family that probably... Let's connect with him because we have a lot of connections. I don't connect with people a lot of the time when we don't have a lot of connections because it'll be hard to find mutual ground. But given that we're friends with 70 other mutual contacts, we probably know a few people. Medical. Okay, interesting. Interesting group. Never heard of them. Let's see. So what happens is you're probably all going to ask, when you connect with people, what happens after that? So if I connect with this gentleman, what am I going to say? Well, I'm going to do some research on his group, and then I'm going to go, well, I'm connecting because of this. You have to be very specific. With most of these, the more senior people are in some of these family conglomerates, the less time they have. And when you do get their 10 seconds of time, it's going to be, you're going to have to be very specific. You're going to have to know what you want. You can't use the word, I want a call to explore synergies. Please never use that word. It's just too hard. I can't do it. When people say, I just want to have a call to explore synergy. Chairmans, directors, executives don't have time to explore synergies. If you're reaching out to somebody, you need to be telling them why you want to talk to them. Why, when, where, how, everything. You've just got their attention and you've said, I want to explore synergies. Game over. No more time. Right? I try and be as polite as I can to loads of people who message me on LinkedIn, right? My LinkedIn's gone terrible. 65,000 followers, 20,000 invites I haven't accepted. It's an inefficient platform for me now. I don't have time to do everything. And it's just, unless people come to me and they're specific, I now know what it feels like if you're a top CEO when everybody wants to talk to you. Like, imagine if I went to the public investment fund, right? Let's do this. Let's go dig in. Saudi Arabia, right? Oh, let's get my LinkedIn page up. Right, let's go back up into LinkedIn. So if I go into public investment fund, I just want to show you something, right? The PIF, the Sovereign Wealth Fund of Saudi Arabia, 3,000 employees, right? How the hell are we going to navigate all of these to find out what we want? Now, these guys, let's look at the connections I have, 20 odd connections. Direct investments. That guy right there, Mr. Ahmad, is going to be inundated with opportunities every second of his day. The PIF fund is one of the biggest sovereign wealth funds. He's got direct investments on his name. If you get that chance, you've actually connected with them. You got to be specific. Got to be. I'm just hoping I'm making myself clear. I got a bit excited. Now, if I look, good to see you firing on all cylinders. Thank you. Love the talk. I'm going through some of the messages now, guys. Great work from... So what's the best location for a private equity firm for Saudi Arabia? Best location? I don't know. I mean, the strategy for fund managers, guys, any of you fund managers listening in, the strategy for fund managers, there's a few ways. You can add an asset to the portfolio here, but you can't BS and say that we're going to add a portion of our portfolio to Saudi Arabia. You're going to have to show the assets. You're going to have to show that you've done months of work doing the due diligence on a portion of that portfolio. They're not stupid. You can't come in and say, oh yeah, we will do that when we get the money. It's not going to happen. But with fund managers, explore feeder structures. I think for a lot of Saudi Arabia would you believe it, has been scammed quite heavily from around the world. Given that the regulation many years ago wasn't quite there, it was very easy for somebody to come in and say, I'm going to give you 40% returns. They send their money overseas and they never see it again. So actually, Saudi Arabia is quite nervous about foreign entities. I know a lot of you look at Saudi Arabia and think, well, we might think the opposite for you. We're a bit nervous about putting money into Saudi Arabia, but they think the same. So the common ground may be a feeder structure, right? So I have a Cayman fund. What if I set up a feeder structure in Saudi Arabia? You invest in the local entity, but then it feeds capital into the Cayman structure. So you just got to get creative, because very rarely, unless you're well known, you're liquid, you're profitable, is any part of Saudi Arabia just going to send you cash to your entity. There's always going to be a push and pull. Push and pull, what that give or take is going to be, I have no idea. Hi, Obadiah. What would you say about asset-backed cryptocurrency like Unicoin? I think the crypto regulation in Saudi Arabia, I don't know. I think it's more developed in the UAE. Hey, crypto is crypto. I don't really know much about it, except from obviously you could. I know a lot about it, sorry, but I've never really done much in it. I bought it myself, but the problem you have with a lot of people raising money via tokens is they don't really do well in a portfolio under some of these family groups. Again, imagine me going to my chairman and saying, Mr. Chairman, I've just bought $2 million worth of tokens, and they're payment tokens for a gaming ecosystem. And yeah, they're listed on an exchange. When the crypto market goes down, they go down in value. I'm making it sound very simplistic and a bit like open in the air. I apologize for all of you in that industry, but I'm just trying to relate the crypto world to the traditional family group world. Now, a lot of different European and US entities are very entwined with crypto. Saudi Arabia, have Saudi Arabia launched their own coin? Do they have their own exchange? No. So you have to think about the education. They don't know as much about it as you do. So cryptocurrency in Saudi Arabia, I'm not too sure. Will they invest in funds that produce good profits and have a good track record? Yes. Will they invest in a token offering with a company of no revenues? Absolutely not. No way. You've got to know that industry inside out to know that that business is going to be successful. And there's a very small portion who know how to work that token economy well. I'm saying that in the most polite manner to all of you in that industry. I love it. I love the gamification and everything, but it's from an investment case, it's a hard sell, and you've got to know the person who you're talking to needs to understand the product. Yeah, this is quite a good question, actually. So obviously, for some of you just joining now, I'm going through LinkedIn and trying to target family groups in Saudi Arabia. After you've targeted these groups and shortlisted, do you send them cold messages? Yes, I do. But these cold messages are very specific. So how do cold messages pop up? They come up as emails, or they come up when you add them. So if we go on my, hang on, let's share my page. So if I go on my network, right? So if I look at see all 15,000, some people here just add me, obviously. And apologies, guys, if some of you are on this page and I haven't accepted. But the odd person will write me a message, right? Dear Obi, apologies, German, Matt German. I'm no opinion on this. But look what he's done. Your approach, which I share, growth strategy for a startup seems to me the only real reasonable one. ultimately is the basis of the industry, like Mercedes with Unilever and Camels. See, now I don't mind this message, but he hasn't really given me an outcome. He's just kind of said, thanks for your, I think I used the camel analogy. Would I accept that? Probably not. Because I don't know what like in business, I know it's good to make friends with people and connections, but when you're trying to reach out to somebody, you kind of want to be specific. Like, fair play to this Matt guy. He's saying, I like your post. But that message to me isn't, from a first glance, he hasn't pulled me in at all. Like, he hasn't gone, oh, I should speak to this guy. That looks great. He hasn't spoken. He hasn't seen my passion in accounting or agriculture or gaming or golf, or I went to university in America, or I was at a conference the other day, and hasn't pulled me in. So when you've shortlisted your groups, do you send them cold? The cold message is specific to what they're doing. Like, I've reached out to you because I have a technology that I believe can save you time and cost. And you're not just saying, I believe, you're saying, I can, and because of this, because I've done this research. Now, if it's pure cold, I can't say anything. You have to get lucky. The person may accept you, may not. Now, the honest secret I want to tell you about how I've been connecting with some of the really cool people. Saturday morning. Do you know why Saturday morning is so good? It's because I wake up and I think, I don't have to look at my emails. I don't have any of my teammates calling me. Oh, it's a Saturday. And then a LinkedIn message pops up. I'm sitting there in my coffee. I'm sitting there having my coffee, just looking at my phone. There might be the TV on in the background. If you've got families, you might have kids running around. And you're sitting just looking at this around. And if a nice LinkedIn message pops up, you're like, oh, okay. I'll have a look at that. And I'll message. I have connected with some of the best people on a Saturday. Why? Because people are busy through the week. So try the Saturday strategy. Let me know how it goes. We'll catch up in a couple of weeks' time. But the Saturday morning, and I learned this from my future sister-in-law. She set up a fashion brand in her bedroom. And now she has 250,000 followers on Instagram. She's in Selfridges, which is one of the highest end retail outlets you can get to. She did that in 3.5 years, right? How did she make it? There was this one lady who was a famous mum. She just had kids, and her dresses are like very mummy. They're for mums. They're not for the young generation. They're for the mums. They suit the mother, pregnant ladies, you name it. I don't know much about it, right? The fashion industry, I mean. But what she did is she constantly knew. She said, this lady's just had a kid, so she's going to be up at 5 a.m., right? She's going to be up at 5 a.m. I'm going to message her at 5 a.m. She may not reply the first time. She may not reply the second, but I'm going to keep going. But you be polite. You don't be too pushy. You try and try and try. Like, when people message me a lot and they keep messaging me, I don't find it offensive. It's just you've got to catch me at the right time. And you've also got to say the right thing. Like, sometimes I may ignore you, not because I'm being nasty, just because what you've said is so far-fetched from what I'm doing. Like, I'm sorry, I can't do everything, guys. I can't be in medical. I can't be in gaming. I can't be in fintech. So learn the person as best as you can from the outside and see how you can get their attention. If they're a CEO, think about the CEO when they're going to have time. If they're an investment analyst, they're going to be at the office late. They're going to be proving their worth to their bosses. So it may be a good time to get them at 7 p.m. You see where I'm going with this? You really, really, honestly, when finding investors is so hard. It is so hard. I can't say it enough, right? So let's go back to, right, let's type in groups. Group. Let's go with the group search. So all of you joining, guys, connect with one another in the chat. Tell me what you're up to. Share your business, sell your business, telling me how much you're looking to raise. I've got lots of senior people who come into this, by the way, and they don't say anything because they work for groups, and if they say something, it may affect their job. So I respect that, but people are watching. So if you want to pitch yourself, if you want a job, shove it in there, right? Let's type in group. I think I've already done that. Loading. Okay, groups and group. And now we're going to type in what? Oh, that type of group. Hang on, I've screwed up. Let's go back. Companies, sorry. Group, companies. So type in group at the top, go to companies. Let's go on locations, and we're going back. Oh, God, I'm doing terrible with this. And let's go back to Saudi Arabia. Right, we're now into groups. Now, groups is not that specific. Oh, here we go. We've got another one. So obviously, not all of them, guys, are going to say investment management. Some of them may say construction. Some of them may say oil and gas. But once you go into them, it's normal. I tell you what the indicators are. It's you sometimes may see a family name, like a surname. I mean, if I go into this one, I don't think I've ever heard of them. Oh, I've got one connection. Built on Valley. Okay, so for all of you who speak Arabic, we've got an English. So we're big into leading brands in the food and retail sectors. Okay, so for all of you in the B2C retail sector, agriculture industry, food industry, definitely let's have a look at this group. Ooh, private equity portfolio manager. I need to have a chat with him, actually. Zafar Sultan. Actually, where's my pen and paper? I'm doing all this work for you. I need to be taking note of this because I'm doing stuff in the agriculture sector now, and I need to. So if I look at, so what are these guys called? Savola Group, and they're big into food and retail. Savola Group. Okay, I need to reach out to them because I want their attention. I need to do some business. Joey, no. Now let's go back. So guys, let's have a look. Zafar, there may be some other employees that you want to look at. But normally when I go into, once you go into the company and you type into the employees, if you really just want investment, so type in investment, it should shortlist the people who are on the investment side. So yeah, look, Chief Investment Officer, Chief Financial Officer, Commercial Director. So yeah. Let's have a look at this gentleman who's the Chief Investment Officer, because he'll probably would have worked at some other companies. London Business School. Yep, I'm definitely connecting with you. Went to school in the UK, and now he works as a Chief Investment Officer. Okay, he worked at Almar Capital, so he's worked in Dubai. We can talk about that. Almar Capital is not far from where I live, and he worked at Gulf Capital. Okay. Look at this guy. Absolute legend. Credit Suisse, clever guy. Far more experienced than me. Wow. Okay, Almal Capital, for all of you that don't know, is I do believe they have a venture capital fund of funds. So any of you VC managers reach out to Almal Capital, but they do a bit of PE. Jamal, no. Gulf Capital, private equity. I know they do healthcare. I think they do a bit of fintech. Oh God, I don't know. Look them up. Gulf Capital, very active. Oh, here you go. Look, healthcare, consumer, manufacturing, oil and gas, and business services. But they are PE. So VC guys looking for venture capital, I probably wouldn't waste your time. Let's go back. Any of you asking any questions? Let me come back. I'm coming back. Okay. Now, this is quite an interesting question. Now, Lenny, family offices, as I told you, they're not really a thing in the region. There's next to not many of them. Are real families. They're all holding companies. Now, a sheikh's office is a bit different. They obviously have political influence. Now, a private office doesn't really have a fund that is under the private office. It's normally somewhere else. Like the royal family of Abu Dhabi, their money is Mubadala, ADQ, Adia. So with these sheikhs offices, I think they're more promotional vehicles rather than actual managed funds. So have a look at them. If they add value to your journey, fine. But that's probably the best way I can say it, because I'm sure there's a confusion of differentiation. If you want that political influence, brilliant. If you don't, then you can go to the more business-like families. But again, I can't really express my opinion because I don't know, right? But I'm just trying to say most of the big royal family members have all their money in all of the bigger funds, the state funds. Technically, they own them, right? So this is a question from Abdullah. In my opinion, KSA is different from the UAE. So let's put up the question here. Let's answer this one. In my opinion, KSA is different from the UAE because the investors in the UAE have a lot of experience in startups, and KSA want to be like the UAE in attracting companies regional. I mean, I'm very biased to the UAE because I'm here. Saudi Arabia, I can't comment on because I'm not there. And I was on a British business podcast the other day, and until you go to Saudi Arabia, you can't comment. And that's my opinion. They're far more advanced than you think. But Saudi Arabia has catching up to do in regulation and religious laws, Islamic law, Islamic finance. They still have quite strict laws. When UAE have kind of like gone, okay, we're very international. I would say that's the difference. But everybody knows KSA is bigger, right? It has more sovereign resources, more currency reserve. Okay. But the UAE has its own benefits. It's a bit more flexible at the moment. But I agree. KSA and UAE are completely different. I would say that the UAE is a bit more saturated now. KSA has a lot more opportunity and potentially resources, but they are a few years behind in terms of the international curve. Like ADGM, hugely credible jurisdiction to set up a business. A lot of Saudi Arabian founders hold their founders' shares in ADGM. So I think they work together, they complement each other, and they're both different. So that's what I'm saying. I can't comment. I can't. I'm biased towards the UAE because I'm here. If I was in Saudi Arabia, I'd be biased towards Saudi Arabia as well, I'm sure. But my heart's with the UAE and my loyalty's there. But let's see. Right, let's go back to searching. Right, we've got a lovely message from Ram. Not now, Ram. Let's talk about it later. So we've gone through this company's Savola Group, retail and F&B. All right, let's go backwards. Let's go back. Savola Group. All right, let's go back to page 2. So it seems like Saudi Arabia. Actually, let's make the search more specific. Remember I showed you this technique before? Al Group. Because most Middle East surnames start with Al. Is that stereotypical? I don't know. So now we're talking, right? So Alpha Tame's in Dubai, so they might have exposure. So any of you want Alpha Tame, they do retail, automotive, you know what. I think they have their own incubator, but they don't have a venture arm from my understanding. Al Jabba Group, construction, privately owned group in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, they're not. I think they probably have exposure to Saudi Arabia. We're focusing on Saudi today. Oh, here we go. Great group. But the only problem is 750 employees. And this lovely gentleman is the only person, from my understanding, that does VC for the group. Now, he is probably going to be very busy And he probably only does 2 or 3 deals a year, because the group probably does some private equity transactions, which he does, where he makes the real money. VC is a lot more long term. Yes, you might get the 30x business, and in private equity, you can make a lot more money short term. So he probably gets pulled into that. But okay, he's an angel investor, advisor to early stage startups, a Braj Group, New York University. Wow, here we go. All of you New York University alumni. He's probably Americanized. Do you know what? I'm not going to lie. I know this gentleman. He's lovely. I've spoken to him, and I'm just telling. I'm saying it from an outside perspective, how you would view him. So look, if we look at his, so he leads investments into auto tech, food tech, and SaaS companies. There you go. But I guarantee there'll be a localization strategy, guys. Again, for all of you who are going to spam him now, you're watching, you've added him. I tell you now, don't expect this group and this guy to send you money to your international holding and then you're going to spend it in your local market. There has to be a push and pull. Don't waste your time. Don't waste his time. You get one shot. One shot. I guarantee with most family offices, there is a push and pull. Meaning, if you want money, you're going to have to give something back to the family as well as the country. All right, let's keep pressing on. Great group. Mark it down. Actually, I need to write it down. I need to speak to them. Again, because he does food tech and agriculture. This is my new passion, guys. So we've got COP28 coming up at the end of the year. I like my agriculture sector at the moment. So we're going backwards. Al Sophia, Anjab Group, oil and gas, human resources. No, let's go a bit deeper. Altea, Musab, Mujan. Okay, 7K followers. These guys look a bit different. I'm not going to go into any of them. Mining, all you minerals and miners out there. Okay, investment group. Never ever heard of these. Let's see if I'm connected with anyone. No. Never heard of them. Is a family business conglomerate. Okay, you got a sheikh in there. Agriculture minister. Oh my God. I mean, I'm accidentally finding groups that I want to talk to. Al Dab Badge Group. Okay. Agriculture Minister of Saudi Arabia. ADG. Right, let's see if they've got a ventures guy. Because if they don't, I'm wasting my time. Well, I'm not wasting my time, but it depends how you look at it. If you want to do business with the group, that's different. But if you want to do some venture stuff, get some transactions off them. So let's start with investments. It's the most generic. If you want to be more specific, you can type in venture. So they got a chief financial officer. I don't think they. Sometimes the investment manager can be the finance manager. That's another name for it, but I don't think they do, guys. I'll connect with him because I want to speak to the group. Even the group itself, just being in agriculture, is interesting to me. But they don't have an investment team, it looks like. Let's try, but the odd chance, let's try venture. Anyone in the group that does venture capital? No. Just this gentleman keeps popping up. I mean, the group will make investments, but it just shows that this is a perfect example of a group that doesn't know how to value a startup. Now, again, I could be wrong, right? I could be completely wrong. And if anybody from the group is watching this, they could find that offensive. I'm just saying from an exterior perspective from LinkedIn, it doesn't look like they do venture investments, personally. I'm going to get a bad phone call in the morning. Somebody saying, Obi, We do venture. You're completely wrong. And why are you telling everybody about that? Anyway, I get enough slap on the wrist for saying the wrong thing sometimes. And look, guys, keep looking out for the side. Chalhoub Group, big luxury and jewelry group. So always look, the LinkedIn does give you some good suggestions, really does. And you keep going down, you just see good things popping up. Right, let me jump back into the questions to see what some of you have been saying. Carlos, hello, we're a real estate consultancy in Madrid and Spain. We're interested in contacting family offices or companies that would invest in real estate in Spain. Now, that obviously you can't pick up a building and put it in Saudi Arabia, so I get that. You're going to have to do your own digging and find people who have exposure to real estate in Spain. Now, a lot of them will go through fund managers, Carlos, because they want to hold the responsibility on a fund manager. It's very rarely that a lot of them will go direct unless they already have property there. So all of you property people, you have to understand if the family group has properties in that country. If they don't, it's very unlikely they're going to go into anything direct. They will end up going through managers because they need somebody to hold the responsibility and do the due diligence. Hi, everyone. Amina from SS&C Technologies. We're the largest leading fund administrator. I'm currently working with various fund managers in the region. Right, let's give Amina some promotion here, guys. If you're looking to set up a fund and you're looking for a fund administrator, it looks like Amina is your choice to go. I know her competitor Apex is probably looking at this thinking, well, Obi, you should be sharing our name. But I'm not. Family offices who invest in seed stage. Again, you got to find family offices with venture arms, venture individual. Okay, I'm going to give you a freebie, right? This gentleman seems to be very persistent on wanting to know what family offices invest in seed stage startups. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, is it Kartik? It's very rare if you are seed or pre-seed stage and you are not a Saudi or a GCC entity that a family office is going to invest in you. It's like 95% sure that's not going to happen. Now, if you do have local operations or local clients or consumers in this market, there is a chance that you can package an investment because you kind of do have business there, but you don't have a legal entity. Well, you can structure that with the investment office. But who invests? Right, I just want to show you an example. Let's go over because this gentleman seems like he really wants to find. So they do have operations in Saudi, so it is relevant to Saudi Arabia. So I'm sure some of you have heard of the Canoe Group. Now, it may not be this one. So another thing to watch out for is different types of groups underneath the same name. So the Canoe Group is split up between brothers, I believe. Now, this is the one I wanted to find, Yusuf. Now, I believe they've just employed somebody from, I want to say, 500 startups. So family offices in the region are looking to do venture, but they need somebody who's done it before. Either that or they give it to a fund manager. So venture. Let's see if it's a new lady CEO. Here you go. What did I say? Rebecca Hall. I heard through the community that, there you go, 4 months. Now look at this. She's the new chief executive officer. So this is brilliant for the Middle East, having somewhat a female-led family office. This needs to happen a lot more across the Middle East. What an example. Good for them. This needs to be more known. You know, a chief exec, female in the region. And these are Bahrain, Saudi. So back to my point. Obviously, this lady has an incredible track record in venture capital. So seed stage should be comfortable. But in terms of foreign seed stage, I don't know. Depends if they've got a mandate for India, US. Very unlikely unless they have somebody on the inside. So I'm just using that as an example. Hopefully that gives you an answer, Kartik. Now, let's go to some of the other questions. Sorry if I'm missing you, by the way. I'm just, there's very good engagement this evening. I love it. Somebody's putting their doc send a quick 3-minute deck. Good for you. People. Sorry, I need to get back to me. Yeah, good for you. Hey, guys, self-promote yourself. I love it. I love it when people self-promote themselves. Get your business out there. That's what I do. Get yourself out there on LinkedIn. That's what it's for. Use your Wednesdays. How can I grab your attention to pitch our company? I'm looking to develop an R&D in Abu Dhabi or Dubai. Why? Great regional economic plans, beautiful views. It will give you an amazing reason to visit. We need your guidance and expertise for funding. How to grab my attention? I mean, tell me what you're really wanting to do here. Be specific. It's you have great regional economic plans. What are they? Who are you doing them with? Who do you want to do them with? Why do you want to do it with them? Again, it's like the day you want to reach out to most investors, not just family offices, is the day you know what you want. When you really don't know what you want, like a good example. I spoke to funny enough, a fertilizer company today, a biofertilizer, and he's a lovely guy, funded by some big names, raised 40 million to this date, and he said, "When's the right time? When's the right time?" And think of it this way. We've probably got 2 more investment committee meetings before the summer. 2 more, that's it. Where the internal team will build a case and present it to the investment committee. And then August happens. August is a slow month. It's going to be horrendous in America. Interest rates are just keeping going up. In August, nothing moves. Everyone goes on holiday. So liquidity is scarce. People aren't moving anything. So I said, September. Everyone's coming back. People want to hit targets to the end of the year. COP28's coming up. Normally, there's a lot of efficiency at the end of the year in the Middle East. So wait. Don't focus on building relationships now, because you're going to build them, and then you're going to lose the momentum, and then you're going to have to pick up the same conversation. Okay, you have that point of interest, but at that point, people get pulled in different directions. They would have had some other responsibility, or their manager told them, you've got to focus on this group or this guy. So timing in this region is very important, because it's not like America. I admire Americans. They have this mentality of, if I invest in this and make 10x, I'm going to get promoted. I'm going to be applauded. I'm going to win an achievement. At the end of year party, I'm going to win a gold plaque that says my name on it. In the Middle East, it's more about, how do I package this in terms of risk? How do I present it with enough security around the proposition? Because I don't really care obviously I care about the upside and the investment, but I also want to protect, what I have. So think of the mentality changes. So when you're coming in from America and saying, we're going to do this, this, and this in terms of numbers, you're speaking to people who aren't really in that type of, quick win, chuck in some cash and see if we can get some, I don't know, a 2x in 18 months. Now, I am looking through some of the questions. Good to see you. Good to see you, Richard, Felix, Lenny, Edgar. Edgaras. Of course, some of you got amazing names. Right. Any good questions, Vivek? How you know any local startups who've been successful in UAE also scaled in peaks and other GC? Oh, okay, good question. So you want me to show you people, founders who've raised money? Okay, let me show you. Let's dig in. Let's go into. So Rebecca Hall, guys, no spamming. Wow, we have 300 mutual connections. No spamming, all polite stuff. Sorry, Rebecca, if you get loads of ads from this. I do apologize. Now, what was I doing? Oh yeah, showing you founders. Let's look at Athby. Athby is an absolute legend. He looks after himself, keeps him fit, as you can see. Good looking gentleman. Now, Just Clean have raised 30 million, top 50 most funded startups, very resilient in the market. The story was he took a loan from one of the banks to start the business, took all the risk to get it off the ground. Reach out to him, ask him how he did it. He's taken money from GIC, which is a institution in Kuwait, but credit. So if I talk about a business that's scaling, this is one. Will it be sold for $1 billion? No. Will it be sold? Yes, 100%. Because he is a B2C, a B2B to C platform. And realistically, as I said, the Middle East is only so big. So when you're a B2C platform, there's only a certain amount of consumers you can reach. So this company will be worth, I don't know, maybe worth 100 million. So yeah, and in this country, 100 million is a lot. Now let's look at another one, Pure Harvest. Now Pure Harvest have raised 380 million. So if you want to reach out to some founders, I think it's Sky, yeah, this guy's Sky here, Robert. These guys have raised 300, all from the Middle East. Now, being transparent, when I spoke to Robert, I met with him probably 3 months ago. He's spin out and he's doing another startup, Ocean Harvest now. He said, getting to Series A, and I'm being very honest with you guys here, getting to Series A in the Middle East was quite hard. But that must have been 4 years ago, pre-pandemic. But now there's more available funds. But he said once you get to Series A in the Middle East, your business starts to go like this. Why? Because there's a lot of funds that look at you when you're close to profitability or EBITDA positive, you've got customers, you're making money. There's a lot of available funds, but I agree there still is a little bit of a gap in the early stage side of things. But the best thing you have now is there's more VCs from around the world setting up that will have a local mandate in the Middle East. You've got a huge concentration of high net worths. Like, you're more likely to raise money in the Middle East from meeting people at your golf club, your tennis club, than you are in any other country. There's a huge concentration of wealth here now. So any other interesting questions? I'm having a look. No, not at this point. Right. Let's jump back over. Let's do a little bit more on LinkedIn. Let's type into Owl Holding. Actually, let me type in one which is really interesting, which I know. Ajlan and Bros Holding. So what I want you to see here is, I should be connected. Now, Chief investment officer is Chinese, number one. Wow, first of all. If you think Saudi Arabia is behind in times, absolutely not. Chinese chief investment officer. British CEO. Family here, right? They're the boys. They know what they're doing. Do you know why they know what they're doing? Is look how international their team is. Amazing. And that's only the people I've connected with. God knows what else. No, so if we go back to Ajlan and Bros, now they are a very diverse group. I think they do, again, like 14 or 15 different industries. So here you go. Minerals and mining, energy, financial services, event management, facility management, logistics, beverages, textiles, entertainment, tourism, and healthcare. Boom. Boom. In line with the 2030 vision. Guys, if you have 30 minutes to an hour tonight, grab yourself a drink, some nibbles or food, little nibbles of food, however you call it, and look at the 2030 vision. Every single family in Saudi Arabia is aligned with that 2030 vision. Why? Because 80% of Saudi Arabia is family. 100% is family run. Same with the UAE. Do you know what happened? So if imagine I have an argument with my brother and I'm one of these families here. Do you know what happens if, like, I'm such a key piece of the chessboard? If I'm like huge in the energy sector and I start arguing with my brother and we have a legal battle and so that affects the economy, right? This is the thing about this country. It's amazing because the families have to work together and they have to align themselves on these visions of the rulers and the governments. So if you read these strategies of the 2030 vision, you know, the UAE strategy towards COP28, you're going to get your answers and you're going to tick the boxes of a lot of different investment mandates. Have a look. 2030 strategy. Is there a lot of growing interest in sub-Sahara Africa amongst family offices in the Middle East? Yes. Depends what. I mean, a lot of them own farmland, real estate. In terms of investing in, actually, there's a guy. Let me give you a guy on LinkedIn who's an expert in Africa early stage. Vianney. See this guy? Absolute legend. Legend. Message him now. Say I've put him on your live stream. So he's recently set up an early stage VC called Modus Capital. Modus themselves manage Mubadala's money, but he's also director of a family office. He has been with him for 6 years. Check him out. I call him my eyes and ears of Africa in Dubai. Absolute legend. Can't say enough nice words about him. So hopefully that helps you. But in Africa, of course, I mean, if we look at being in the Middle East, and this is why a lot of businesses now are saying, you know, Obi, we want to set up a company. So I have an accounting company. We have loads of people say, is it worth me moving, like, for tax, or is the cost going to be so high? People are trying to balance the cost, right? So if I have life in the UK and it's good, if I move to Dubai, obviously not paying tax or little tax and next to nothing VAT, but the prices of other things are so high, you know, office rental and lifestyle and everything. People are trying to balance to see which is better. And obviously the UAE is better. But what a company said today is, but actually, Obi, what we really want is access to Africa, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, because just in those countries, you've got like 2.5 billion people and they're 3 hours away. So if you want consumer markets, you've got them at your doorstep. Hi Obadiah, if you're not doing, you may want to start a new company which focuses on global funding using AI. I don't have to, because there is an investment firm called G42. You should check them out. They are a AI investment company, so I don't need to do it. They do it. There you go, G42. They've just recently launched M42. They've recently launched M42. They've launched Ingizat, which is their smart city arm. M42. I think this is it. G42 Healthcare is now called. There's Ingizat, their smart city arm. Edge is the defense arm of Abu Dhabi. It's a bit, too defensy for my liking. Mubadala, G42 Cloud, ADQ, ADNOC. Cool, you're getting all the names there. But G42, anything to do with that healthcare, guys, they are still, I would call a startup, G42 in some way. They still need a lot of your help and expertise. They like cloud, biotech as well. So any kind of real deep AI stuff, check them out. So hopefully that gives you the freebie. Any appetite for Sino-European? I don't know what that means. Felix here. I work in healthcare VC space in Africa. Understanding the continent. Anyone interested in the space, guys, check Felix out. He is a VC manager in the healthcare space in Africa. Felix. I am hungry, and I need dinner. It is 9:10. I've given you an hour and 20 minutes. If you missed it, go back and watch it. I've done a little bit of family office hunting today. I've tried to give you a little bit of snippet of information. And I'm not here to give you all the answers. I'm just here to show you the strategies of how to search. It's hard, as I told you, getting people's attention in this world online. I think I posted a this is a marketing company I own with another co-founder, and we're just talking about how do we get your voice heard. As a small company, how hard is it now to get your voice heard above the internet? There's so many people who are becoming entrepreneurs. It's so hard. So you really got to think outside the box how to get certain people's attention. If you're trying to get the masses, then get the masses. But if you're really trying to get somebody or a group's attention, really think clever. Turn up outside their office with a box of chocolates. There's something that's really playing on my mind at the moment is there's a gentleman in Abu Dhabi who I really admire, and he's taking Abu Dhabi in a certain direction. And I want to get a piece of artwork done of him, like a cartoon, but like him as like the action figure and loads of stuff going on around him. And I want to gift it to him and see what he says. And the reason why I want to do that is because I want to be more involved with what he's doing in Abu Dhabi. So really think about outside the box. The people you want to get to. Try and get in their good books. Because it's funny, when you meet somebody for an hour in an office, they don't really owe you anything. They're just doing their job. They're scouting, they're looking for opportunity, great people. They're also being polite. But when you give something and you've gone out your way and you've actually spent money and you've given value, like if you host somebody for a dinner and you pay for taking them to a sporting event or something, it's so much more valuable than paying for a conference. Or paying for, I'm not dissing conferences, but you know what I mean? If you really want to raise money, you should know the exact people you want money from. Scattering is not a good thing, especially when it comes to here. In the Middle East, people are still competing. Family groups are still competing to become bigger than the person next to them. So you got to join one of them and go for it. The sky's the limit. Right. Dinner time. Thanks a lot. Yeah, JP, I did see. This is how long my day is. JP, I sent him a message at 6:50 this morning. I was up on my laptop at 6, and it's sad to say that I haven't really moved today. Yeah. Anyway, James, this guy runs a last minute shout out. Worked at Mubadala. Built I call it an open AI legal tech. I'm sure he may not call it that, but I do, where I can do, searching somebody's name or a company's name, and it tells me all about their business, AML, KYC, like that. Introduce James to Weo Bank. So for all of you startup founders in the UAE, you're looking for a bank, check Weo out. You can get your bank account open. It used to be 2 days, but they're probably quite busy now, so it might be less. Anyway, love you and leave you. Have a good rest of the week. Enjoy your Wednesday night, morning, afternoon, and thanks for listening. Go back and watch it if you missed it. Speak to you soon.